I mean, I knew at some point in my life that this would happen, that I would actually be wrong. I mean, I was hoping to make it to like 70 or 80. You know, that your brain starts to, you know, deteriorate, and then you have an excuse. But I mean, 42 is the first time I've ever been wrong. I guess I'm just gonna have to deal with it. What's going on, guys? So earlier on in the week, I made a video about action versus tab combat. I'm sure many of you have already seen it. And of course, you guys were down in the comment section letting me know how wrong I was on the my assertion that this game is trending more and more and more into a tab or towards an action direction. That's the way that it's headed. And in some ways, I felt like it was going to be a full-on action game by the time we got done. And you know, some new information has come to light, and we're going to talk about that. But first, I want to talk about what my definition is of the difference between action and tab. And like I said in that video earlier in the week, if you ask 20 people, you'd get 15 different answers probably. And so everybody kind of has their own little version of that. Here's my version, and I try to make it very, very simple. Do the projectiles curve towards the target or not? It's as simple as that. To me, it doesn't matter if you've tab targeted onto something, you've got a reticle pointed on it, you've soft locked onto it, you've hard locked onto it, whatever terminology you want to use, no matter what it is, if when you fire that bullet, the enemy moves and the bullet curves towards the enemy, that's tab targeting. That's tab targeting. The whether or not you hit or not is determined by what Steven calls stat opposition. So your accuracy versus their evasion. Sometimes there's level implications there. Some games don't let you hit targets that are significantly higher level than you. I don't think that's going to be the case in Ashes. But either way, that's what determines whether or not you hit. That's tab. It doesn't matter how you slice it up. I don't care about if you have a camera that you can free move, or if you have a cursor on the screen, or if you press the tab button. None of those things matter. The only thing that matters is, does that projectile curve and heat seek towards the target no matter where they go? And then by the flip side to that is, if you shoot something and it goes straight, and if your target moves, you miss, then that is action. And again, it doesn't matter if there's tab targeting or any other way of targeting or firing towards an enemy or anything like that. If that bullet goes straight and will not curve towards your target, then that's action combat. Hey guys, Editing Zillin here. I recorded this video this morning before I left for work, and then while I was at work, I watched the live stream, and they showed some Mage Combat, and the Mage Combat directly shows exactly what I'm talking about here. So let's take a look here. They had this one little section right here where Steven actually hid around a rock, and the lightning bolt curved around the rock to hit the tab target. Also, the basic attack is a attack that goes out and curves and goes back in. While that's not exactly what I'm talking about in terms of it following its target, this would be impossible to use in an action combat scenario, because how do you tell the projectile when to curve back into its target? Same thing with this mana volley ability that they show here. It curves out and then back in. It's a really cool effect, but it's probably not realistic for action combat. So that just goes more into what I've been saying. This is tab. I don't know if I dreamed it, imagined it. You know, did someone send me something giving me some information that was bad? Did I misread it or mishear it and think that it was one thing and then it turned out to be another? I don't know. I don't know. I just know that what I originally believed was that in Ashes of Creation, whenever you fire an arrow towards a target, and that doesn't, again, like I said earlier, it doesn't matter if you've tab targeted to it, if it's soft lock, if it's hard lock, or if you just have your reticle on it, that arrow was going to fire straight. And if that enemy happened to move at just the right time in order to be able to dodge that, it would be dodged. The arrow would go completely straight and then hit it, hit whatever it hit first, a rock or a tree, or fall to the ground or whatever. But that's not true. That's not the case. I messaged Roshan on Discord and, asked him, said, hey, can you clarify for this for me? Because like, I was so sure about it that I was just like when I was making the video earlier in the week, my thought process was like, I'm just going to go find that snippet that clearly exists because I've seen it before. And I'm going to be like, boom, here you go. Here's proof. And then when I went to go look for it, there was no finding it. There was no finding it. So Roshan confirmed for me I was wrong. The bullet will curve towards the target. And so at this point, the only thing I can say is Ashes of Creation is a tab targeting game with the same, it's hybrid in the same way that World of Warcraft or Star Wars The Old Republic is hybrid. Like, you're going to have tab targeted abilities, they're going to curve towards the target, and then you're going to have templated abilities, like a conal. You know, you're just going to put the cone on the ground for you probably and the enemy to see. There's going to be a you know, like a circle that you can drop where you can do like a rain of arrows, a volley of arrows or whatever. Those types of templated straight line in front of you. Those types of attacks, you are actually going to have to aim and hit with those. ESO has very similar version. I think Guild Wars 2 has very similar version. So that is what we're looking at now. Is this is basically Guild Wars 2 or ESO Combat, which a whole bunch of people in my comment section told me that during my video last week or earlier this week. And so this is not news to you, but it's clearly news to me because let me tell you guys, I had a plan. I had a very specific plan. I was going to look up that information, get that piece of information that I needed, and then I was going to make a two-part video. The first part video was going to be like a long, in-depth explanation of what I consider action versus tab. I had a few other creators who've done similar videos that I was going to use some of their examples and show, hey, look, you know, this person said this and this person said this, and kind of get it all done. And then in part two, I was going to like school all you tab guys about how wrong you were about this is an action game. But instead I get to make this video where I just admit on national television that I'm wrong. I've come to talk with you. Sucks. I'll see y'all in the next video.